Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with my retro review of Rob Zombie's 2007 remake of Halloween. First, going to the cast of the noteworthy cast, I should say. We got Malcolm McDowell taking on the role of Dr. Sam Loomis from the late Donald Pleasance, and to be pretty honest, did a damn fine job. But it's Malcolm McDowell. You put him in a shitty movie, he's going to be he's been in some real bad movies, but he's still been good in those movies. So, you know. Next up, we got Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, Tyler Maine as a 27-year-old Michael Myers, Dag Ferch as Michael Myers from ages 10 to 12, Brad Dourif as Sheriff Lee Brackett. Also delivering a damn fine performance, I might add. Sherry Moon Zombie as Deborah Myers. William Forsythe as Ronnie White, Michael's stepfather. Danielle Harris as Annie Brackett. Christina Klebb as Linda. Dee Wallace as Cynthia Strode. Marking actually the first time we meet Laurie's adopted parents. Danny Trejo as Ismael Cruz, who works at the sanitarium. Richard Lynch as Principal Chambers. Udo Kier as Morgan Walker. Clint Howard as Dr. Copelandson. And Ken Forey as Joe Grizzly. I don't know why I felt like I added that there, but yeah. Anyway, so movie starts off in 1978 on Halloween. Let's see. Michael, it kind of goes back and forth between whether we should feel bad for Michael or not. We see that his family is largely just a collection of turds, constantly yelling at each other, arguing at each other, yeah. At school, he's bullied, and rather than, and it's like, okay, you know, oh, the principal's here, breaking this up. It's all good. Things are. Instead, he just makes things worse by saying "fuck you" to the principal and getting dragged into the office, along with the bullies, as opposed to, you know, like, hey, what, you know, why you pick on this kid, huh? However, while his mother's called down there because apparently they found a dead cat in his book bag, as well as pictures of dead animals. Michael runs away while Loomis, the principal, and his mother talk, and catches up to the lead bully and beats him to death. That night, Halloween, he's going to go trick-or-treating. Mom's going to go to work, so his sister Judith's going to take him, but, well, Judith's boyfriend's there, so no, she's not going to take him trick-or-treating. And his stepdad is laid up with apparently a broken arm and broken leg. I'm guessing a car accident? Either way, he's kind of a piece of shit anyway, so doubtful he would have taken Michael much more than to, you know, next house over. Okay, I think trick or treating. Let's go back home. But Michael does go get a little bit of candy after his sister and her boyfriend have their little bit of teenage sex. Well, while they're screwing, Michael binds Ronnie up with duct tape to his chair and then slits his throat. And then apparently, we found out from the news report, stabbed him a bunch of times in the face and chest. Then he beats Judith's boyfriend to death with an aluminum baseball bat. And then, of course, goes and stabs Judith, leaving his baby sister Boo, and of course his mother, who was at home, alive. And we get progression for the next few years or so, next couple years or so of him at Smith's Grove, talking with Dr. Loomis, visiting with his mother, and one time apparently his mother. At one point, this male, while talking to him, while sweeping the hall, says, hey, you can't let the walls get you down. Learn to live inside yourself. Well, Michael's big thing is, of course, making masks, which he does, and he's got tons of them by the end. Well, eventually got tons of them, but he makes masks, and he begins to wear those and just kind of keep to himself. And during his sessions with Dr. Loomis, he begins talking less and less till he's not saying anything at all. Same with his mother's visits. And then there's a picture of him and Boo, and the nurse looks at it and, oh, cute baby. Couldn't really see someone as ugly as you, though. So, Michael stabs her to death with a fork. Which, of course, leads to Mrs. Myers shooting herself while watching home movies. Fast forward to another additional 15 years, and Loomis says, basically tells Michael that he feels he's failed. Loomis tells Michael he feels he's failed him, and mainly because Michael just won't interact with him. And, he's done everything he can, and so he spent more time with Michael than he did in his first marriage. It's almost like Michael's his best friend, which shows just how fucked up Loomis's life is. Well, Loomis, of course, has written a book because, about the murders and whatnot. And he goes into speeches, he does a speaking tour about the book and whatnot. Anyways, there's some one of the interns at Smith's Grove. One of the various pieces of shit interns, I should say, because there are. Well, I think intern would be one of the various pieces of shit that works at Smith's Grove. Decides to rape one of the newly admitted female patients, along with his cousin. Him and his cousin are going to rape her, and they decide to do so in Michael's room. While one's playing with Michael's masks, Michael finally gets up and the killing begins. Kills both the orderlies. That's the word I was looking for. Not interns, orderlies. Kills them both. Makes his way out. Kills this male along the way. At a truck stop, he kills Joe Grizzly. Gets his the coverall he wears, and eventually makes his way to Haddonfield. Just as in the original, the Strode Realty is trying to sell the Myers house, and Laurie's going to drop off the keys. Her and her girlfriends make arrangements for that night. Laurie's going to be babysitting Tommy Doyle. Annie will be babysitting Lindsay, at least for a little bit, and then Laurie will take over when Annie's boyfriend shows up. And they're supposed to party with Linda and Bob. Well, and of course, with some weirdo that they keep seeing throughout the day, over the course of their walk home. Annie makes a point of shouting at him, her dad's the sheriff. Anyway, so moving on. That night, of course, she goes and goes to Tommy's, and they talk about the boogeyman, and they watch bad movies, and then Lindsay comes over, and yeah. Meanwhile, instead of it being at the house across the street from Tommy's, Linda and Bob are killed at the Myers house, lamenting the fact that it's going to be sold, that someone's going to buy it, so they won't be able to party in it anymore. Then Paul and Annie are attacked. And the attack is discovered, or at Lindsay's house. The attack is discovered when Laurie takes Lindsay home, goes to take Lindsay home, and finds Paul hung in the entryway with a jack-o'-lantern on his head, and Annie on the floor, cut up and bleeding. And so Laurie calls the police. Man had to run with Michael, manages to escape, crowds gets back over to Tommy's, and of course Michael follows them. Eventually the cops show up, are dispatched by Michael. Then Brackett and McDowell and Loomis, they also show up, but at Lindsay's house and where they find Annie still alive, just very badly stabbed. And then that's about the point when Tommy and Lindsay manage to get away from Michael, and they run over to and tell Loomis what happened. So he goes to the Myers house, where in the cellar Michael's got Laurie as well as Linda and his sister's headstone, and he's trying to explain to he holds up holds the picture of himself and baby Laurie to Laurie, say, hey, do you know? He doesn't fully articulate. Well, I would say articulate because he's not speaking, but he doesn't really. There are better ways he could have made that. He could have done that. For example, by saying, pointing at the baby and pointing at you, pointing at the younger version of himself and pointing at himself. Saying, this is you, this is me. Also, I'd like to mention this. Earlier in the movie, when they realize, that Michael might be going after Laurie, Brackett tells the story of how it is Laurie Strode came to be Laurie Strode as opposed to Laurie Myers. Brackett responded to a 911 call, which turned out to be the suicide of Michael's mother. And in the middle of everything is this little baby crying her head off, innocent as can be. And so, Wallingher grew up with the stigma of having been, the sister of a multiple murderer, the daughter, and having had a mother that committed suicide, and so on and so forth. Brackett admitted her from the report, took her next town over to the ER. Thought that was the end of it. Learns that his friend Mason Strode has adopted said baby. So that is actually one of the things I feel that this version of Halloween does better than the original. But anyway, so we get a showdown between Michael and Laurie, which culminates, of course, with Loomis showing up, shooting Michael a few times, and then Michael comes out again, back into the house to continue their fight. He kind of, it seems almost like he's trying to gouge out when he gets to fighting Loomis. He actually tries to gouge Loomis's eyes out, but he doesn't. In the end, Michael and Laurie fall off the second floor balcony onto the ground, where instead of Michael walking away after being shot a whole bunch of times, Laurie picks up the gun that Loomis had, holds it on Michael, and shoots him right in the face. And screams. And that's where the movie ends. So, yeah. The movie focuses a lot more on Michael's youth before he killed his sister. I mean, hell, we actually get some information about that. More than just him putting on the mask, picking out the knife, and walking up the stairs. To be perfectly honest, though, I think that it was detrimental to the film, and kind of helped to drag it out. The reason I say it was detrimental is that it kind of sets up this whole thing where you're trying to show that maybe Michael is not the monster we've all thought he was all these years. Because, okay, so let's look at his first handful of kills. The bully. I can't blame him for that. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe he went a little far, killing him, but still, yes, that's what should. Yeah, he's got a few loose screws, but his anger is directed in the right direction. However, at the same time, you also have the fact that he has tortured and killed animals. So it's like, but we don't see him actually do this. His stepdad, Ronnie. Oh, where the hell do we even start there? Oh my God, Ronnie is a piece of shit, flat out. The boyfriend doesn't really do anything wrong to Michael. That actually even kind of says, "Hey man, sorry to ruin your Halloween." Judith acts the way an older teenage sister is going to act towards her preteen brother, to be perfectly honest. So it's not that surprising that she's kind of a bitch to him. At least stereotypically speaking. The nurse calls him ugly. Yeah, again, it's straight for calling him ugly. Nurse calls him ugly straight out. The two orderlies fucking rape a woman in his room and fuck with his shit. They kind of deserved that. The first time we get a kill where it's truly just the person did nothing wrong, was in fact a good character and good person towards Michael, is Ismail. And Ismail, even makes one of them say, "Yeah, I was good to you, man. I was good to you." It didn't matter. Big Joe Grizzly is... What's there really to say about him? We don't see him doing anything terrible. Okay, so he's looking at a porno while he's taking a dump. What would he do? It's not really until he starts killing people in Haddonfield that we get the whole, Michael's actually a fucking monster. He kills the Strodes. He kills Linda, Bob, Paul. Yeah. Like I mentioned, it does a much better job explaining how Lord's adoption came to pass. It ramps up the body count, something fierce. The original Halloween has a total body count of 4. The the guy that Michael steals his coveralls from, Bob, Linda, and Annie. That's it. This one, whew, we more than double it at least. Now another thing I will say is kind of a good thing. The movie tries to do its own thing rather than just rehash the original. The problem is that it doesn't do what its own thing isn't good. As I mentioned earlier, the movie is kind of drawn out. That half hour at the beginning dealing with Michael as a kid just really drags the movie out. So many characters are straight up scum. It's hard to feel bad for any of them getting killed when any of them are killed. McDowell and Durf are both amazing in their roles. But anyways, so yeah, that was Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's not a good movie. It's definitely on the low end. If you were to rank the Halloween movies thus far, it's definitely on the lower end. I remember when it came out, I was actually really excited because I like Rob Zombie. I like his music. He put on one of the best stages I've ever seen, and I like his movies to that point. And so when it came out, I bought it. Decided this like, yep, I'm buying this fucker. But then I watched it. I was like, okay, it's different. And I let it simmer for a bit and rewatch the original a few times and rewatch that. And like, oh no. Anyways, so tomorrow we're gonna go. Next few days we'll be going to see the new Halloween and be putting up a review of that. Then we'll be doing a special version of Building the Team. Follow that up with our retro review of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And then we're also going to be planning on doing a retro review of Dario Argento's Suspiria in preparation for the remake of that being released. Anyway, so that's going to do it for tonight. On a bit of a time limit, so when I shot this at least. Anyways, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Comment even if you like. Links to my my channel's Facebook page, Twitter page, and Patreon are in the description box down below. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I put up new content as soon as possible. And this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.